Back to my channel. Today we're gonna do something a little different. I want to demonstrate to you guys and showcase two of my favorite devices. I love them both. It's really hard to say like which one is my favorite, but I love them both. So, you know, for me, technology adds to my day-to-day life in so many ways. It all like just helps me have such a better workflow and a better outcome for my creativity. And I feel like regardless of what device it is, whether it's my iPad, my phone, my computer, or the Braille devices I'm going to show you today, like they all contribute to everything that I do. So let's get started. I'm first going to show you it this way. So this is the Mantis Q40 from APH, American Printing House for the Blind. And this is the 40 display. So this is like a little bit heavier. It's much bigger than the other device I have here that I want to show you. And so I'm just excited for us to go through this together. And I hope that if you're out there and you really feel like you need a piece of technology that will add to your day-to-day life, go through your commission, go through whoever you need to get to go to be able to make sure that you have something that's going to add to whatever it is that you do, whether it's school or work. All right, let's do it. Here again, we have the Mantis. I'm just going to turn it on. Let's see. So it's turning on now. It says starting at the bottom. Okay, so I'm just going to show you some of the cool functions. So we're currently in the section to choose whichever, oh, it just connected to my iPad. So now I'm going to go through some of the things that they have listed, like the editor where you can, you know, create documents, open documents. They have the Braille editor, they have power off, user guide, online services like Bookshare and NLS Bard, those types of things, settings, date and time, calculator, file manager, library, terminal where you go for your devices to connect them. So let's go into editor. Here you can create a file or open a file. So let's create a file really quickly. And you can see that this is literally just like a keyboard. It has all of the keys of a computer. And what I love about this is that you can actually connect it to your phone, your Mac, Windows, your iPad, and so you can work on those devices without actually having to be sitting next to those devices. So usually if I want to send emails, I can't do that on here. So if I'm in the living room but my iPad's in my room and I kind of just want to sit on the couch and get some stuff done on the iPad without actually having to hear voiceover talking the whole time, it just connects via Bluetooth to my iPad, and then I can get stuff done on there with ease. So let's do a little writing so you can kind of see. I hope you guys can see that Braille display down here. And what I like about this is that it's just like in a Word document, you know, when you're exiting out, it gives you the option to save the file or save as. So usually when you hit escape, it'll say save open file, and then you can scroll through using the thumb keys, which are at the front of the device, to find the selection that you want. So you can say yes if you want to save it, or no, and then just hit enter, and it takes you back to the top where it says create file. And then this circular button right here is the home button. So wherever you are in the device, you know, when you're moving through it, doing whatever you gotta do, if you hit this button, it'll just take you back to the main page where you can scroll through and find each thing that you need. All right, let's move over to the Apex. I'm gonna turn this off and set this to the side because the battery is dying on here now. So just hit okay, and now it's showing. All right, so this is different. You use a switch on the side here to turn it on versus a little button on the Mantis. So we're gonna turn that on. And now you're in the main menu. So you can toggle through the list here, which has word processor, Why can I not talk? Word processor, planner, address list, email, internet, chat, media center, navigation, book reader, scientific calculator, database manager, games, extensions, X, file manager, utilities, terminal, keyboard learn, and we're basically back to the beginning. So in here, as you can see, it's a lot smaller. Like I said, this is a 32 cell versus a 40 cell. And this is just really good for literally anything. I mean, you can't really connect to your devices as smoothly on here as you can on the Mantis, unfortunately, but you still have the capability to do that. So I used to do, you know, the thing where I connected to my phone, but honestly, I prefer to do it on the Mantis because it's just a lot smoother. So we're gonna go into a document here. So on here it says document versus file, so that's the only big difference. That's one of the biggest differences. So let's create a file, a document. And in here, the difference between the Mantis and the Braille and the Apex is that when you're creating a file on here, you have to title it before you actually enter the document. So on the Mantis, you just, once you hit create a file, it'll automatically take you into that file. And then when you hit escape, that's when it'll ask you if you want to save the open document, and then you would title it afterwards. So that's like another big difference. You can see the keys up here, they're much smaller. They are much lighter to type on, so we're gonna do a little typing. It's easier. Oh, and another big thing is it's easier to like erase things on here. On the Mantis, you kind of have to go slowly when erasing, but on here, if I want to erase a whole sentence, I just hold down the delete or the backspace. Yeah, the backspace, sorry, or delete. And then we hit escape. And so now that document is saved, I can always go in later and
they just add to what I do in so many ways. Like, honestly, I feel like with the Apex, I like using this one because of the fact that it is a lot smaller. And also reading books on here is so much easier because it is a smaller device. But overall, I just really appreciate that I have access to these tools and that they can really benefit my workflow, my workspaces much easier. And I think about the fact that for so long, blind people did not have access to any of these tools. These things were not readily available. You know, they had these big typewriters, which are called Braille writers, that people would lug around and take with them to offices, to literally to school. And you know, that was if they were not lucky enough to have someone that owned a Braille writer in school, like a vision teacher. So it was basically their responsibility to lug that thing to school and back home. And I was actually doing that for a little while when I was younger because I didn't have these things. It wasn't until I was in 5th grade when I got what they called the Braille Sense. And that was an interesting device. But honestly, like, having these and seeing how it's advanced and how it continues to advance is just amazing to me. I mean, for a second, as a sighted person, I want you to just think about the fact that the tools that you own, your phone, your iPad, your tablet, your computer, they all have been integrated to allow those with disabilities to use them, to navigate through them. And, you know, your phone, your Apple device, and your Android both have screen readers on them. Apple has a screen reader called VoiceOver, and Android has a screen reader called TalkBack. Your computer, like your Apple computer, VoiceOver. Your Windows computer has JAWS and NVDA. And so all of these things have been fully integrated to not just be available to people who can see, but to also allow those of us who can't see and have disabilities to have features on the devices that are readily available and set up for each person. Like contrast, zoom, voiceover, all of those things are in your accessibility settings. So I hope that you guys took something away from this video, and just remember that, like, as technology continues to shift, in a lot of ways accessibility has to be integrated, because if not, then those of us with disabilities will in a lot of ways be left behind in that process. And so now, with touch screens that are everywhere, a lot of these touch screens things, like, I don't even know, toaster ovens. Why not just have a simple dial on a toaster oven? But like, even those things don't have screen readers built into them, because in that sense, people don't think about the fact that people with visual impairments need to also access that tool, that device. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed learning about the Braille displays that I showed you today. I love the Mantis. It's truly such a great tool. So again, if you're someone that has a visual impairment and you need a tool, you need a piece of technology, no matter where you are in the world, find your commission counselor, find whoever's in charge of like your state, you know, governmental or federal based organization that can help you get the technology you need, because I just think it will help you regardless of what you do, whether it's working, school, or anything else. So let's take one more look at these. You see the difference? Smaller one in my left hand, by the way, my blind viewers, and the Mantis is in my right hand. Alright, you guys, I will catch you next time.